Hey, what's up, guys? So today we're going to take a look at the 24 Hours of Lemons cars that I got. So this is a 2004 Honda Accord. We're going to do a little walk around. So as I said, it's got about 190,000 miles on it. The headlights are a little foggy, as you can see. This part of the bumper where you're probably going to have to zip tie that in. Yeah, these wheels, these are just Steelies with plastic hubcaps on them. Tires are right. See, it's got some dents, scrapes. Either someone debadged it or they fell off at some point. Here's a nice little dent. I don't know if that was a whiskey dent or what, but yeah, overall, not too bad. So we'll take a look at the interior real quick. The interior is actually pretty clean for what it is. You can see this is all scratched to hell, but that doesn't really matter. So yeah, that's the car. Now, the one issue with it that I have noticed is it does hard start. So we'll take a look at that now. It does eventually start. It also seems to start better if you give it some throttle. So, I don't know. We'll pull it in, start taking a look at it. Here we have underneath the hood. We're just kind of generally looking at it. A few things I see is that there's tape on this intake right here. A bunch of electrical tape. So I don't know if something happened. There's tape on this port. Otherwise, I hosed it down earlier, so it's a little cleaned up, but otherwise it doesn't look too bad. All right, so one of the things we're gonna get working on right now is ripping out the interior. I know it may seem tempting to kind of go after the engine and that hard start issue more, but we've got plenty of time to figure all that out. What we do kind of got to get started on is getting this thing prepped for the 24 Hours of Lemons. And the big thing there is going to be getting a cage in this. So in order to get the cage in, we're going to yank a whole bunch of the interior out. So it's been a little while since I've owned a Honda. However, I think we can figure out how to rip all this stuff out. So basically, we're going to work on completely gutting the thing. What do you say we get to work?
So I start off here by, working on removing the back seat. Those little pads just sit to the left and right of the back seat. You just give them a pull and they come right out. Here I'm trying to figure out how to remove the seat bottom. I just can't get it. It feels like it's held up on something. So I move on to the trunk. The trunk's pretty straightforward. There's just a trunk liner, and that trunk liner bottom, I pull that out to get to the spare tire, then start working on the left side trunk liner. It's just held on by all these little friction plastic push pins, pretty easy. I also figured out how to fold down the rear seat, which I think the lever is broken on it because I had to reach in and grab this little lever. But then I start working on removing the back seat. The backrest portion is just held on by a bolt on each side. So I just zip those out and then just work that back seat out. Once I got that out, I saw a single bolt holding the seat bottom in. So I just zipped that out, pulled the seat bottom out. Here I start working on the rear deck. So this plastic trim is held down by a bunch of plastic friction pins. I'm trying not to break it, so I'm spending a little time here trying to figure out what the best way to go about getting this is. Eventually, I just lose my patience and grab the big pry bar here and just start prying and popping things. I get it to the point where I just give her a yank and she came right out. So once I got that out, I just have the 3 seat belts I'm working on. I believe each one was a 14 and 12 millimeter, but I just zipped those things out, got the 3 seat belts out of the way. And with that, the back is pretty well cleared off. so I can start working on the headliner. So this is a B-pillar I'm working on. In order to get the B-pillar trim off, you have to remove that seat belt. So once I got the seat belt out of the way, pulled the trim, put the seat belt back up, then I start pulling the handles off the headliner and then the sun visor. So I was working on that for a little while. The clip that holds the sun visor in place, I'm pretty sure I broke both of them. They did not want to come out, but a couple screws holding the sun visor in, and then the center sunglass area and map lights. That was a couple screws. Once you got the lenses off, pulled them out, working on the other sun visor. Again, those things took me a while. Get the other handles out, and now I can start working on the trim, this other B-pillar trim. So get this B-pillar trim out. Again, take the seatbelt off. I put the seatbelt right back on. Now it's just this final light, and the headliner is good to go.
All right, pretty sure my phone wasn't actually recording for the headliner removal. Where we're at now is basically we've got some of this electrical up here, which we're probably going to keep up here because it'll be nice to have lights. So what I see some of the drag racing guys do is they'll run lights on top of the roll bar. And so that way, if they got to work on the inside of their car or do something, they just flick on those like LED strips and they have plenty of light in here. So we'll probably do something similar. We have these little plastic structures, which I think we're just spacing of the headliner. We're going to take all those out. Yeah. And then just kind of tuck this wiring up, get it out of the way. And then we'll see if we get to it today, but I got to pull seats out and probably the center console and stuff and try and get all the carpet out of here. So, let's keep working.
Honestly, at this point, I was pretty hot and wasn't totally sure if I wanted to keep working, but I just couldn't help myself. I needed to try and finish this. So here I'm working on removing the seats. Again, it's just 2 bolts in the front, 2 bolts in the rear. I just zip them out with my little 3/8 impact. Pull the connector off the bottom and get that seat out. Same thing on this seat, 2 in the front, 2 in the rear. However, on the passenger seat, there were 4 total connectors, which I think is twice as many as the driver's seat. So I get that seat out of there. And now I'm just working on trying to get the center console out. So it's Phillips head screws. Again, the thing with these center consoles is you're just trying to look at how everything's layered together and trying to figure out how you got to remove it. So that's a big part of what I'm doing here is just seeing where it feels like it's holding up, try and pop a panel, see if there's screws under there, remove the screws, try again. That's basically how you do interior panels, or how I do it anyway. So here's the parking brake. I'm just removing it to get it out of the way. Again, the carpet kind of goes over this center tunnel area. So I'm trying to get as much out of the way so I can do as minimal damage to the carpet as possible because, again, I'm trying to preserve everything I can. I think I had to make one small cut on this carpet just because I didn't want to deal with, there's an electrical line that runs all the way through. So I made a small cut to get that carpet out. Now with this upper carpet for the front area, I pulled a shifter, or I unbolt the shifter to see if I can slide the carpet because it runs, again, underneath the shifter and then underneath that center console area. And so I'm just trying to figure out if I can get that carpet without taking the entire dash out. And here I'm figuring out that the center console area looks like it's part of the dash. So I'm not about to take that on today. So I get the glove box out, I look in there, determine I can get this thing out by making one small cut. So that's what I do. I just cut the carpet real quick, then pulled it out. I just clean up a little bit, and then I'm bolting the shifter and the handbrake back in just in case I want to move the vehicle. All I have to do is bolt the seat in, and I'm good to go.
I think we made some progress today. So just to kind of recap, pulled out the back seat's trunk liner, then pulled out all the trim, pulled out the headliner. I actually came out this door. I kind of folded it as gently as I could to make it fit out the door. But you can see that's it right there. Pulled the seats out and then pulled out the carpet. Now, to make it easier on myself, I did cut the carpet in a couple spots where it's kind of tucked over this little tunnel area. So it's just 2 small cuts, but it wasn't really worth it. I mean, if I sell these carpets, it'll be nice, because that's kind of how the lemons work. Is the idea is you buy a $500 car, and then anything you sell off the car can count against your purchase. So if you sell $200 worth of parts out of your car, you're now at a total of $300 if you bought the car for $500. So $500 minus $200 of parts you sold, $300, which means you now have $200 to spend trying to make your car better. So the whole idea is to kind of control costs as much as possible. We still got to do some small things. Ultimately, I'm going to put the driver's seat back in because we do need to be able to test, like drive this car once I get it registered. And then probably next after that is honestly the dash. Start yanking that out. I'll see you around. Keep in touch. I'll do more updates with this car as I can get to it. See ya.